Good evening, I'm Prasad and you're watching KiniNews. All eyes are on the Palace of Justice as Najib and his team of lawyers attempt to adduce fresh evidence in the SRC International case. However, if the Apex Court dismisses the new evidence bid, then Najib's main SRC appeal will proceed. The hearing of former Prime Minister Najib Abdul Razak's final appeal on the SRC International case has begun. The Federal Court has set 9 days to hear Najib's appeal. Chief Justice Tengku Maimun Tuan Mat will be presiding over the 5-person Apex Court panel. The first matter to be addressed is Najib's bid to introduce evidence of conflict of interest on the part of trial judge Mohd Nazlan Mohd Ghazali. Najib is hoping to nullify his conviction and get a retrial. Despite having officially withdrawn his bribery claims against Nazlan, the former premier stuck to his guns over the purported conflict of interest against Nazlan. On December 8th last year, the Court of Appeal upheld the lower court's guilty verdict, 210 million ringgit fine and 12-year jail term against Najib. Najib's lawyers have alleged that important evidence was not made available to the defense and even Najib was in the dark. But what evidence? This is what Najib's lawyers told reporters this afternoon.
The alleged fresh evidence in the 42 million ringgit SRC International corruption case was kept from Najib Abdul Razak, the federal court was told today.
Made this morning before the Honorable Court is that it's both necessary, in the name of justice, that this proposed additional evidence be admitted. They are crucial for the defense because they relate to live issues at the SRC trial. So to do justice to the applicant appellant, we urge the court to exercise discretion to rule in favor of our application. We say that we met the threshold by law as regards its admissibility.
Najib's lead defense counsel Hisyam Teh Poh Teik submitted that the evidence relating to trial judge Mohd Nazlan Mohd Ghazali's purported conflict of interest was not made available to them during the criminal trial. The lawyer pointed out that if not for the anonymous envelopes sent to Najib between May 9th and July 7th, allegedly containing the fresh evidence, then the defense team would not have been aware of its existence. Hisyam told the federal court that Najib was at the time unaware of Nazlan's alleged knowledge and involvement in the establishment of SRC through Nazlan's then position as general counsel of Maybank Investment. The federal court was hearing the application by Najib's legal team to adduce fresh evidence as part of a larger bid to nullify his conviction and sentencing in the case. In the event the Apex Court dismisses the new evidence bid, it will proceed to hear Najib's main SRC appeal. Najib seeks to overturn his 12-year jail sentence and 210 million ringgit fine.
So how credible is this alleged new evidence? According to the prosecution, it's merely hearsay.
Former Prime Minister Najib Abdul Razak's bid to introduce fresh evidence in the SRC International case is based on what certain individuals allegedly told MACC, according to the prosecution. Deputy Public Prosecutor V Sithambaram submitted that the federal court should reject the bid as Najib's supporting affidavits are all based on hearsay evidence. Under the law, hearsay is the report of another person's words by a witness which a court could usually disallow as evidence during a trial. Najib's additional evidence bid is backed by his affidavits over what 3 MACC officers and 2 bankers purportedly told the MACC during the SRC investigation. Sithambaram told the 5-person bench that Najib's affidavits showed that these alleged witnesses did not personally tell the former Prime Minister what they supposedly told MACC. He said the application is not a fresh evidence bid but camouflaged as a fishing expedition into the alleged conflict of interest on the part of Judge Nazlan.
Wanita BN held a convention yesterday during which Zaid continued to make his case on why G15 should be held this year. BN Chief Ahmad Zaid Hamidi said it will be inappropriate to hold the 15th general election next year. He explained this is due to economic factors and a possible rise in the inflation rate. Speaking to reporters after the Wanita BN convention at the World Trade Center on Sunday, he said he was confident that it will be held this year. He said BN has begun preparation for G15 at all levels. Zahid added that the coalition plans to compete with the underdog spirit to ensure that the party machinery would do its best to gain voter support. In his speech, Zahid said BN must be quick to counter the opposition over several accusations, such as the literal combat ships issue, to stop them from killing BN. Meanwhile, Zahid's deputy told the convention that BN's performance in G15 would be do or die for the coalition. Umno Deputy Chief Mohammad Hassan has indicated that he will resign if BN fails to form the next federal government. Speaking at the Wanita BN convention in Kuala Lumpur on Sunday, Mohammad said the next general election was a do-or-die battle for the coalition. According to Utusan Malaysia, he said this would be the last chance to prove BN can retake Putrajaya. Muhammad, who is also BN election director, added that G15 will be like no other because BN will face both Pakatan Harapan and Perikatan Nasional. However, Muhammad said recent by-elections and state polls have given BN hope of winning the next general election. Are e-hailing fares too high? Don't expect the government to do anything about it because Dewan Rakyat was told today it was based on the willing buyer, willing seller concept. Instead, the government has told users to look for alternatives.
The government has urged e-hailing users to opt for other modes of transportation if the fares are too high. Deputy Transport Minister Henry Sam Agong told Dewan Negara today this is because the e-hailing service is provided on a willing buyer, willing seller basis.
Penumpang boleh membuat tempahan kepada mana-mana pembekal perkhidmatan e-hailing dan boleh sama ada bersetuju maupun tidak bersetuju dengan perkhidmatan yang akan ditawarkan, termasuk dengan kadar tambang yang dikenakan. Sekiranya penumpang tidak bersetuju dengan perkhidmatan yang ditawarkan, maka penumpang boleh memilih mod pengangkutan yang lain seperti taksi.
He was responding to Senator Lim Pei Hen, who asked what action the ministry will take on e-hailing service providers who charge exorbitant fares. Henry added that fares spiked because there was a surge in demand for e-hailing services as the economy opened up. On top of that, he said many e-hailing drivers stopped working to return to full-time jobs elsewhere. This has resulted in a lack of drivers to cope with the higher demand. Lim also asked what the government will do to ensure more competition in the sector, but Henry sidestepped the question. He again tried to evade a question when Senator Dominic Lau asked what the government is doing to confront the soft monopoly in the industry, which is almost entirely controlled by one provider. Instead, Henry listed out requirements for drivers, including insurance coverage and licenses.
A brief denial is just not enough. This is why a lawmaker is urging the IGP to probe the allegation linking the police force to troll farms.
Bagan MP Lim Guan Eng has urged Police Chief Akril Sani Abdullah Sani to expedite investigations into the police forces alleged to link to troll farms. This is after Meta, the owner of Facebook and Instagram, revealed in a report that it deactivated several hundred accounts and pages linked to the Royal Malaysian Police for spreading misinformation. Lim said the IGP should uphold and perform the police's statutory duty to the nation and not be beholden to ruling politicians. The DAP chairperson said that if Akril Sani allows the force to drag its feet on this, it would be similar to other political puppets who covered up misdeeds for their political masters. Lim added that the police's brief denial and statement that it is obtaining more information on the matter are insufficient for such a grave allegation. The police have not provided further updates despite multiple requests by reporters since the Meta report was published on August 5th.
And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook for the latest news updates. If you'd like to support independent media, do consider subscribing to MalaysiaKini.com. I'm Prasad. Thank you for watching.